After discovering my wife's affair with her work husband, I secretly became his boss and watched their relationship implode from the inside. The long game revenge no one saw coming. I, 34 meters, have been married to my wife, Emily, 32 feet, for 7 years now. We met in grad school, hit it off immediately, and honestly, I thought we had a pretty solid relationship. We've always been good at communicating, we have similar interests, and we've weathered some tough times together. No kids yet, but we've been talking about it. For context, Emily works as an account manager at a marketing firm. About 2 years ago, they hired this guy, Jake, mid-30s, who quickly became her work husband, as she jokingly called him. At first, I didn't think much of it. They worked on projects together and sometimes went to lunch with their team. I even met him at the company Christmas party last year, and he seemed like an okay dude, though a bit too charming for my taste. You know the type, always has the perfect thing to say, dresses like he stepped out of a men's lifestyle magazine, and somehow manages to make everyone feel like they're his best friend. Anyway, things started changing about 4 months ago. Emily began staying late at work more often. Her texts during the day became less frequent. She was always on her phone when at home, and she'd take calls in another room saying it was work stuff. I honestly tried not to be that suspicious husband, but something felt off. Then last month, I noticed she'd forgotten to log out of her work email on our shared tablet. I'm not proud of this, but I looked. There were dozens of emails between her and Jake that went way beyond professional. Inside jokes, personal conversations, comments about how much they enjoyed spending time together. One email from Jake said, "Those 2 hours in the corner booth at Rafferty's yesterday made my whole week." That hit me like a truck because Emily had told me she was having lunch with her college friend Sarah that day. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I decided to pay attention. I noticed she'd changed her phone password. She'd started dressing differently for work. She was suddenly very interested in staying fit and bought new perfume. Classic signs, right? What really confirmed my suspicions was when I checked our phone bill. Multiple calls to the same number, often late at night or early morning before I woke up. I reverse looked up the number. It was Jake's. So here's where I'm at now. I know confronting her with accusations would just lead to denial and gaslighting. I've seen it with friends who've gone through similar situations. Instead, I've decided to play the long game. I've started by casually suggesting we both try this new budgeting app that tracks our spending. I was transparent about all its features, including that it logs location data for purchase verification. She thought it was a great idea and readily installed it. I've also started being more attentive and loving, not in a desperate way, but just enough to make her feel slightly guilty. I've been working late myself a couple of nights a week, actually just going to a buddy's place to give her the opportunity to slip up. Here's my plan. I'm gathering evidence quietly. I've hired a lawyer, she doesn't know, and I'm documenting everything. I'm preparing financially by documenting what assets we brought into the marriage individually and making sure I understand our complete financial picture. I'm not hiding assets that would be illegal, but I'm making sure I have access to enough of my own premarital funds to support myself if needed. I'm also preparing our house for sale by fixing up all those little things we've been putting off. A twist, I own a small software development company, and by coincidence, Emily's firm is in talks to hire us for a major project. I disclose this potential conflict of interest to my business partner, who's handling the negotiations directly. Jake doesn't know who I am beyond Emily's husband, and he certainly doesn't know my company. I'm not using the business relationship for revenge. That would be unethical, but it does give me insight into their workplace dynamics since my partner keeps me updated on all client interactions. I don't want revenge that hurts my own future. I want to come out of this in a better position than before. Am I being calculating? Yes. But after 7 years of building a life with someone who can lie to my face every day, I think I'm entitled to protect myself. I'll update when there are developments. Update 6 weeks later. First, thank you all for the support and advice. I didn't expect my post to get the attention it did. To address the most common questions, yes, I've considered that this might be totally innocent, but the evidence suggests otherwise. Number, I haven't confronted her yet because I want to be strategic, not emotional. And yes, I'm prepared for this to end my marriage. I'm just trying to protect myself in the process. So here's what's happened in the last 6 weeks. The budgeting app has been revealing. According to the location data, Emily has been to lunch meetings at hotels on at least 3 occasions. Each time she's been there for about 2 hours mid-afternoon. She told me these were client meetings, but our mutual friend who works at the same company mentioned they don't usually have client meetings at hotels. The contract between my company and her firm has been finalized. We're now working directly with their marketing team, including Jake, who has no idea I'm the owner. I have a business partner who handles most client-facing work. Through this, I've learned that Jake has been bragging to my business partner about a complicated relationship. He's in with someone who's trapped in a stale marriage. He's even shown my partner pictures of them together at a baseball game, a game Emily told me she attended with her coworkers as a team event. I've been documenting everything and have given it all to my lawyer. I've also secured copies of our financial records, important documents, and family photos, just in case things go south quickly. The hardest part has been maintaining normalcy at home. Emily has actually been more affectionate lately, which makes this even more confusing and painful. Last weekend, she suggested we take a vacation together this summer and even brought up the topic of starting a family again. It feels like she's living in two different realities and it's messing with my head. I've had moments of weakness where I almost confronted her. Last week, she was texting someone while we were having dinner, smiling at her phone, and I nearly lost it. Instead, I excused myself, took a walk around the block, and reminded myself to stick to the plan. The project with her firm is going extremely well. We've delivered the first phase early and under budget, which has impressed their executive team. I've been invited to join a strategy meeting next week, which Emily doesn't know about yet. Jake will be there too. It will be the first time we've been in the same room since I found out. I'm both dreading and looking forward to it. My plan isn't to cause a scene or compromise the business relationship, just to observe their interaction professionally while continuing to gather information about my personal situation. Several of you suggested I might be going too far with this plan. Maybe you're right, but every time I consider just walking away, I remember that email about the corner booth at Rafferty's and how easily she lied about it. 7 years of marriage deserves at least the dignity of the truth. We'll update after the strategy meeting. Final update 4 months later. It's been a while, and a lot has happened. The strategy meeting I mentioned in my last update was illuminating to say the least. When I walked into the conference room, Jake was already there. The look on his face when he realized who I was, priceless. He managed to keep it professional, but I could tell he was rattled. Emily arrived a few minutes later, and watching them try to act like mere colleagues while stealing nervous glances at each other confirmed everything. After the meeting, I asked Emily casually if she knew Jake well. She said, not really, just another team member. That's when I knew for sure what I was dealing with. Over the next few weeks, I focused on supporting my team in completing the project for her firm, maintaining strict professional boundaries and recusing myself from direct interactions that involved Emily's department. We delivered exceptional work, and their management was thrilled. They signed a long-term contract with my company, which ironically gave me financial security just as my marriage was falling apart. Then came the unexpected twist. Remember how I mentioned our shared tablet? Well, Emily apparently forgot about it again. 3 weeks after the strategy meeting, I found frantic messages between her and Jake. He was telling her that he couldn't do this anymore, that seeing me in person and realizing the reality of her marriage had changed things. He wrote, I thought this was just fun, but now I'm breaking up a real marriage with a real person. I can't be that guy. What followed was a series of messages from Emily, first pleading, then angry, then eventually accepting. The affair was over, not because she chose to end it, but because Jake did. I waited another week watching Emily become increasingly withdrawn and irritable at home. Then one evening, I simply asked her if everything was okay at work. She burst into tears and to my shock confessed everything. The affair had lasted 5 months. She swore it was over and that she regretted it deeply. She begged for another chance. I listened quietly, then showed her the evidence I'd gathered. I told her I'd known for months and explained why I hadn't confronted her earlier. Her shock turned to anger that I'd spied on her, but that quickly faded when she realized how thoroughly she'd betrayed my trust. Here's where the story differs from most. We didn't immediately split up. Instead, I suggested we try marriage counseling, not because I was ready to forgive, but because after 7 years, I wanted to understand how we got here. 6 weeks of intensive therapy revealed a lot. Emily had felt increasingly invisible in our relationship as I focused on growing my business. The affair wasn't about love. It was about feeling desired and important again. This doesn't excuse her actions, but it helped me see my own role in the deterioration of our marriage. In a particularly brutal session, our therapist asked me what I really wanted. Was my elaborate plan about protecting myself financially, or was it about punishing Emily? The question hit hard. Maybe it was both. As for where we are now, we're separated, living apart while continuing therapy individually. The house has been sold and we've divided assets fairly, with no need for the scorched earth approach I'd initially planned. My company still works with her firm, though she's transferred to a different department. The long game I played did protect me financially and professionally. It gave me time to process my emotions and make decisions from a position of strength rather than hurt. But it also taught me something unexpected. The satisfaction of revenge isn't nearly as powerful as the relief of finally being honest. I don't know if Emily and I will reconcile. There's still love there, surprisingly, underneath all the hurt, but there's also broken trust that may never fully heal. For now, we're taking it one day at a time. What I do know is that I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. The business is thriving. I've reconnected with friends and family who I'd neglected. I'm no longer living with the anxiety of suspicion or the burden of secret keeping. Whatever happens with our marriage, I've realized I'll be all right. Thanks for following this journey with me. If there's a lesson here, maybe it's this. Sometimes the most strategic move isn't about outmaneuvering someone else. It's about finding your way back to yourself.